What's going on, Facebook world? This is Brad Weems, and we are getting ready to record the Better Everyday podcast. Thanks for tuning in. All right, guys, welcome back to the Better Everyday podcast. I'm your host, Brad Weems. Today I have with me Thunder Valley coach and friend, Josh Misener. He's been with us since 2017 as a member, and most recently we brought him on as a coach. He is a great personality at the gym, and he's already becoming an asset to the Thunder Valley staff. So, Josh, how's it going?
Going great, Brad. I appreciate your kind words.
Yeah, man, no problem. Good having you on today. Tell us about you. Where'd you grow up? What are you doing for work these days? Any hobbies you have, about your family, whatever.
Yep. I grew up in Greenville, Tennessee, and grew up there and went to Greenville High School and moved to Knoxville to go to college and ended up transferring to ETSU. So I went to both schools, transferred to ETSU, and I've done a little bit of everything. I worked in a barbecue restaurant that's now closed, which is kind of sad. It stands. Worked at golf course, picking up golf balls by hand, the range picker. That was fun. And then having people hit you in the golf cart. You know, it's pretty loud.
Any serious injuries?
No.
Okay.
I mean, there were some times where we probably almost flipped some carts, but nothing too bad. But I've done a little bit of everything. Since college, I worked in the golf industry, the wine industry. I sold Cutco knives. I've sold insurance, but currently real estate, and it's definitely my favorite, most rewarding sales job for sure.
It's been cool seeing you hustle in this new job that you got, and I know that you've already been closing some deals, so
Yep.
That's good.
Yep.
Yeah, the one thing I did fail to mention in the intro was how amazing of a golfer Josh is. Now, granted, I've been asked to go out and play with the guys for years, and I just don't currently, with a 4 and 1 year old, have the time to commit
Right.
to learning what seems to be a very difficult game. But everyone's like, Misener is one of the best around.
I appreciate that. I say I used to be a player. Now I have a lot of fun and try to shoot par, but have a good time, have a few beverages, and enjoy myself. But I used to play. I started playing when I was 9. Got introduced pretty early. I'm thankful for that, and I was allowed to kind of develop my own swing and my own game. And I had growing up in Greenville, there were a lot of us that played. My best friend played, Blaine, and my friend Todd, and another good friend of mine, Justin Jeffers. And we had a lot of good competition. We all wanted to get better and beat each other. And there were some guys a little bit older than us that had, played at a really high level, like tour events and such as that. And I enjoyed not just playing, but the process of, hitting bunker shots and practicing chipping and putting and all the little things that you have to do to get better. I really enjoyed that. But, I got pretty good in high school. My attitude probably cost me a little bit at the time, unfortunately, but I still love to play. And I used to play competitively. I guess probably 10 years ago. I used to play a few times a week at least, and play in state mid-am, stuff like that. I may try again this year since the qualifiers at Graysburg. I consider my home course, so may try again. But I really didn't get huge into it till I was probably 16 or 17 because basketball was so big.
Right.
Every kid thinks they're going to be Michael Jordan. Well, I was decent, not great.
Right.
So, but then started to focus on golf from there.
Well, it sounds like your golfing journey is kind of like my tennis journey. I started at the age of 5, and maybe I peaked a little bit too early. It's around that 13 to 14-year-old age that I kind of hit my peak, and then from there kind of lost motivation. I guess it's just from where I started at such an early age. But
Right.
Just like in the CrossFit world, you were talking about the competition you were going against, and that's what makes CrossFit so unique and beautiful at the same time is we're all pushing each other and getting better at the same time.
Yep.
But then also you were talking about how you enjoy the process, and it's a lot of those small cues and those drills that you can work on that are going to make you better all around.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I want to share with everybody this morning your CrossFit journey because it's a little bit unique versus some of the other individuals at the facility.
Yep.
But I feel like there's a lot of people that maybe are nervous or are looking to take that first step that could benefit from your story. So you want to go ahead and give your side of the story?
I tell my side.
There you go.
Tell your side.
There we
we'll
go.
Find the truth in the middle. Absolutely. So a few years ago, I'd say probably 5 years ago, I had gotten to a place where I had a job where I sat all the time. I didn't exercise. I didn't eat correctly, and it caught up with me. I was around 30, and my metabolism slowed down a ton. And I looked at myself in the mirror one morning getting ready, and I was like, okay, it's time to make a change. So I started going to Lifestyles, and I've known Walter Hall over there for a long time, and I was kind of doing my own thing, maybe shooting some basketball, doing a few reps, and he's like, hey, you need to come in here and do this circuit class. So I'm like, okay. So I go in there and do the circuit class, and I ended up losing quite a bit of weight and getting a little bit stronger, I would say. And then I met Kelly Wolf in there. And Kelly Wolf's a local developer that owns commercial, residential rentals and builds houses as well. And I went to work for him for 3 years. And when I went to work for him, one of those properties was Suncrest Village. And Brad and Ashley Weems lived out there and at the time. And Henry was a baby.
Yeah, probably one at the time.
Yeah. And I think I was just in there to fix something one day.
Yep.
And you said, hey, man, you lost some weight. You look good. And I was like, hey, I really appreciate that because I had put a lot of work in for probably a year at that point. And he's like, you ever try CrossFit? And I heard the word, and I was like, I've seen it on TV. That looks scary. And I was, you invited me, like, yeah, you can come by anytime on, Saturday or, come try us out. And I knew a few people at the gym. I knew the Pearsons, and I knew Megan Schmidt. I've known Megan Schmidt a long time. And I came and did on-ramp with Ashley Begley, and she did a fantastic job because she's a fantastic person. And I did it. I really liked it. And then I didn't come back to the gym for
Yeah, so let me give you some insight. So here's how it typically goes with a person trying out their first week. They come in the first time, and they're always just pumped up and excited. Now, over the years, we've learned you have to scale your athletes. I'd rather you start slow because I want to see you more throughout that first 7 days that you're trying this out. If I can get a person in for 2 days, that means the first workout didn't kill them too bad, or they've had enough rest to get all that soreness out. Yeah. If I get them in 3 days, the likelihood of signing someone up is roughly 80 to 90%. I think in that 5 week or the 5 days of on-ramp or however many sessions it was, you were there almost every single day. Okay. Yeah. So to give an analogy for the audience, this is like going on multiple dates with someone, and then all of a sudden they just drop you like it's hot. You're calling, you're texting, no response.
Ghosting.
Exactly. So I see him around the neighborhood.
But I saw you almost every day.
That's what was awkward about this is the fact that I pass you every single day.
Yeah.
And so I told myself, okay, it must be me. He don't like me. Why are we not dating now?
Right.
Why didn't he come on as a member? So I decided, even though I'm seeing him every day, I'm not going to bring it up. And so what was it, like 6 to 8 weeks before I even acknowledged the fact that you didn't come back?
I think I first came in did I do on-ramp first, or did I do 17.5?
You did on-ramp. So
I did on-ramp in February, and then the open was ending in March, and I came in and did 17.5 on a Saturday with Terry Pearson, and it was 10 rounds.
It was a Friday night, actually.
Was it Friday night? Okay.
It was a Friday night.
That's right, because T-Money gave me a beer when I was done.
There you go.
That's right.
But it must have been like 6 to 8 weeks from your last on-ramp session to
Yeah.
your next workout.
It'd been a minute.
Which was what was crazy. So I think it was like he was at the mailbox or something one day, and I just kind of was like, hey, we'd still love to have you back, but no pressure.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of how I approached it. And he's like, okay, I'm going to commit to come tomorrow. And I'm like, well, pump the brakes, bud. I'm like, we got this CrossFit Open thing going on, and the worst workout's always the thruster workout, but you still committed, came in. It's a thruster and double under 10 rounds. It was something like 9 thrusters and 35 double unders or something.
I did the barbell and singles, and it was still awful.
Yeah.
I remember, I think you were like, do you want to go heat 1? And I was like, no way. And then I think I went heat 3, I think, and Terry's like, just go, the same heat as me. I'm like, okay, great. And I remember Bobby was in heat 2. And, of course, Bobby was super friendly right off the get. And,
right.
I saw him do a thruster, and then the barbell's over his head, and he drops it behind him, and it hits him, like, in the trap.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, I'm going to die today.
So
it's going to happen.
When I was trying to force you into the heat 1, it's so you would not see such things.
Yep.
I
saw Ashley Begley also just not having any fun, but having fun, and she's – she was a monster, and she, I saw everybody struggle for 2 heats, and the anxiety definitely went up for sure.
And you still stayed and did it.
Yep.
And then you're like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I think is just absolutely crazy, but
yeah,
a
you can't
really
get me
cool
to
story.
leave.
No. So that's the thing. You found out about us. You tried us out. You came back for a terrible workout. You decide to sign up after a thruster workout.
Mm-hmm.
And for you guys that don't know what a thruster is, that is a full depth squat with a press overhead. It's done multiple reps at a time. Full body exercise. It's going to ignite the heart rate. So a very tough rep. And so anyway, this is Josh's origin story. And then come 2018, lo and behold, who is the person that comes in 262 days out of 365?
Yep.
This guy.
Yeah.
And so what from a mindset standpoint made you have this pivot of like, I'm not even sure I can do this workout, to coming in to 262 days a year?
Well, it became a commitment. It just became, this is what I do, 5 to 6 days a week. And it's not just working out. I could go to another gym and do some bench press and do this or that, but it's a commitment to myself, to the people around me, to you and Chris. The accountability factor is huge. If somebody doesn't come in the gym for a while, they're getting a text from not one person but multiple people,
and that's not just coaches, that's members as well.
Absolutely. Members are probably harder because we're not in your position as the business owner. I'm just like, hey, you need to get in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. Of course, they don't have to text me about being there because I'm already there.
Are you the one typically doing the texting?
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
But, yeah, man, it's just been a cool story. It's been awesome, from where you came from to where you're at now. And now you're on as a coach.
Yeah.
So,
Honored.
There's a guy that I listen to on a podcast. He is all about this, and not to say that you're not a highly technical coach,
Mm-hmm.
but he is all about this belief system that he would rather, when it comes to 2 individuals and 2 resumes, and finding a good coach at a fitness facility, he would rather have someone that can make you laugh, that's fun to be around, a great personality, versus someone that has 28 certifications,
Mm-hmm.
but doesn't know how to talk to somebody.
Right.
And that's why it's been such an easy transition for you to come in as a coach and, it be so smooth. Like, everybody just likes you. You're just a good personality.
Appreciate that.
So, are you liking coaching?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is challenging. I mean, and I expected it to be challenging, but you have, I coach 9:30 and 12 on Wednesdays on Fit Club, and those are two very different classes. Just like 5 a.m. CrossFit's very different than 4:30 or 5:30 p.m. You have to kind of learn everybody's personality and what buttons you can push with that person, and what's going to make them, either tick to. Do they need to be pushed a little bit? Do they need to be encouraged? Do they need, somebody to just give them a hard time?
Right. And is that something that you realized before you became a coach, or do you think that's something that you've learned during your coaching?
I think probably a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just like in sales, you don't sell to everyone the same.
Right.
You might have a highly technical person who's like an engineer or something like that. They're going to want data. And then you're going to have somebody who's a little more emotionally driven. Then you play into that. So I think it's very similar to that. Like Lisa Fleener at 12 o'clock Fit Club, I just push her and challenge her. Tell her Tom Clement's smoking her in the run. She's
going to
push it. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Right, and then you have some that just need encouragement,
mm-hmm.
and some that don't want you to push them.
Yep.
They just want to do them.
They just want to do their hour and go. Yeah.
Yeah. What's been the toughest part of the job so far?
Gosh, keeping everybody happy with the playlist.
I
feel bad of how hard of a time I gave you all before when I was just an athlete in the gym. It's stressful sometimes.
That is the biggest complaint at the facility all
mm-hmm.
the time is, you've got, let's call it 14 people in your
mm-hmm.
930 Fit Club class.
Yep.
Not everybody's going to like Taylor Swift or
JT.
JT or the song Watermelon Sugar by Harry Styles,
Exactly. I'm glad you brought that up.
So you just, that's true.
Or
the music is the hardest part.
Or Biggie. I mean, and to try to keep it as clean as possible, but also, there's some of those songs that are very motivating. I mean, I love Rage Against the Machine when I'm working out, but it's not for everyone.
Correct.
So
correct.
I have to keep that in mind.
If you're listening and you are one of those people that have a tendency to complain about music, just always have a backup song.
That's
like
right.
Or a go-to song, because there's nothing worse than someone that complains and you're like, what do you want me to put on? They're like, just anything but this. And
that's right.
It didn't help anything. I still don't know what to do or to make you happy. So
Alexis Green wants a lot of Britney Spears.
A lot of Britney. You can't ever go wrong with a lot of Britney. Yeah. All right, so let's see how good you of a coach you're becoming, and I want to kind of test where you're at. How long you been at this? 2 or 3 months now?
I believe so. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to do some scenarios.
Okay.
You're coaching a class, or there's a situation at the gym, and this takes place.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
Okay.
First scenario. We got a partner workout for the day, and you've got an odd number of people in class. The odd person in class realizes, nobody wants to pair with them and begins crying. What do you do?
Well, first of all,
full-blown tears.
Full-blown tears?
It's basically like they were the last person picked in gym class.
Well, there's definitely a lot of people at our gym that would probably, as I'm orchestrating getting the workout going, probably notice even before the coach a lot of times. But I would probably grab somebody very experienced, very sweet, like, Elizabeth Brown or somebody like that, and say, hey, I would get that person over there, make them feel as comfortable as possible. And, because an experienced member is going to be like, I'll go solo or I'll shadow or something like that, but definitely make them feel like, they're not the odd one out. That's probably what I do. Find an experienced person with a good personality.
All right. It's a day of rig work at Thunder Valley, and you've got a member that's maybe been there 6 to 8 weeks, and they've maybe been on the rig 2 or 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
They get the smallest tiny rip on their hand, no bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
They start pretending or acting as if gasoline and fire has been put
mm-hmm.
on this rip. Like this
yes.
rip is just over the top. What do you do?
Are we still in the middle of the workout?
Yeah, we're in the middle of the
Okay.
workout. Like there's us, we got 12 minutes left,
Yeah.
and this person's just it's not even bad. Like if you put on Instagram, like for the old school days, these people would laugh at them.
Well, depending on their personality, but I mean, as far as like toes to bar, I've switched to toes to rig, which is also difficult.
It's a good that's a good pivot.
It's still difficult, and they're not going to rip their hands on that. Maybe go into something banded, but they may still rip if there's tape on there or something like that.
Okay, not bad. I like the pivot. All right, Melissa. For you guys that have ever seen any of Melissa's Fit Club workouts, it's amazing. She has probably an inventory of like 378 different exercises.
Mm-hmm.
So you're coaching that morning. You didn't get a time to look at the workout before you came in. There's an exercise on the board. You have no idea what it is, and there's no YouTube video out there. None of us coaches can help. What do? Do you make an exercise up?
So you're saying you haven't coached 5 a.m. before me that day?
Good call.
Okay, I got you.
Somebody was covering for me. How about that?
Thankfully, Melissa is super great about not only having it up, but if I have a question, I will, ask her, or, such as that. But usually I pick on Alicia Church and make her do the movement for me.
All right. So you kind of are like going to your Fit Club OGs to help you in this awkward situation, basically.
Or what I think it is.
Okay.
So what I think the movement would be.
All right. I like it, man. You're passing so far. There's a member, let's say it's their first week, 2 weeks there. Melissa's got a doozy of a workout. It's hot outside. They ate cheddar rounds before they came in that day.
Shout out to Pals.
They're looking rough. Pals, if you'd like to sponsor this show, please feel free to contact me. But they're looking white. They're telling you they might throw up, and then they proceed to throw up on another member. What are you doing? We still got 20 minutes in class, so like, and it's one of those workouts where everybody's moving around.
Okay.
And we're talking like a whole 2 sheets of rubbers covered.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to quarantine the area.
Okay.
And that person.
But it smells terrible.
Like,
how am I supposed to do burpees in that square next to that?
You're just gonna have to move to another part of the gym. You're just gonna have to make it work. No, would definitely help the person that is throwing up, and maybe they need to cruise on the bike for a minute. Maybe just take a little cool down walk, grab some water. Maybe unless they don't want to eat, probably maybe a little bit of a bar. I usually have a bar in my bag.
Is that just by coincidence, or you have like a little emergency kit that you bring when you're coaching?
Well, it is a big bag with lots of gear, but
okay.
No, just in case. I mean, I felt bad in workouts and go, man, I need a little bit of sugar or I'm not going to get through this. Typically, hydration-wise, I'm usually pretty good, but go get a big bucket of mop water and try to get it away, I guess.
You're doing good, man. I like it. One last
hopefully catch the whiteness before.
Before I mean, it was a big class, and it's hard to keep tabs on everybody sometimes.
That's right.
This one, not necessarily. This situation doesn't necessarily take place at the gym when you're coaching, but there's a prospective member that comes and tries it out for a whole week. This maybe is like your favorite server at a restaurant, and they're like, Josh, I want to come try this out. They come for a week, and then you keep seeing them around town, and they haven't been in 6 to 8 weeks. What do you do?
I think you kind of like sales. You check in a couple different ways, maybe through text or a call, and just checking in with them, make sure that they're okay. Probably do that periodically.
Yeah, and then when you see a really good thruster workout with jump rope in it come up, you invite them back,
in.
right?
Yep.
Awesome.
I actually didn't do thrusters on Monday. I did burn instead, thankfully.
You realize what I just did there? I tried to bring it back.
I know.
Okay.
I know. I like it.
Dude, it's been great having you on today. Like I said already, you've been an asset to Thunder Valley, not only as a member but also as a coach.
I appreciate
and it's good having you part of the Thunder Valley
that.
family.
Yeah, it's good to be.
So
Great thing that happened to me for sure.
awesome. Guys, thanks for listening today. And we are signing off.